Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am thrilled to be able to share with you today how you can pass the Praxis Core Reading 5713. I have done two other videos about the Praxis Core and I will link them down below or I'll post them up here. I was very busy after taking the last one, I think, which is why it took so long to make this video. But I was finally able to create this one, so thank you so much for your patience. The Praxis Core is all about testing you to make sure you have basic skills for reading, writing, and math. And after you take that and pass, you will be able to do your PC hours for WGU. Now, if you go to a different university, please check with that university because every university varies. But for WGU, after you pass the Praxis Core, you can begin your PCE hours or observational hours for a future teacher. As always with the Praxis Core exams, I highly recommend that you take them one at a time instead of all at once. I believe to do it all at once, it's like 4 to 5 hours. I do consider that to be rather unhealthy for you to sit for that amount of time. And I think it's better to take them one at a time so you can hone in on your skills and reach a better outcome. So the test is all selected response. It's very similar to the ACT reading. The only difference is you will have some paragraph passages, some shorter passages. You will have longer passages, and you even have like double passages where you have to compare and contrast one author between the other. There are 56 questions, and you have about, I think it's 85 minutes to complete it. There will be questions that test you on main idea, inference. There was some on organization and tone, vocabulary, comparison of ideas, identifying evidence. And you'll also have, I really thought this was interesting, you'll have some charts and graphs and even some visuals, like some infographics. The resources that I use to pass, and I will link them all down below if you are interested. I use the ETS Study Companion. It's very thorough and kind of explaining about the test, and it does have some practice questions, and it even has, I think, like a chart at the bottom where you can review what skills you have and what skills you don't, which ones you need to review on, which I think was helpful. I use the book by Kathleen Jasper and her course. I highly recommend that if you're going to go the Kathleen Jasper route, you just do the course because it includes the book, and that way you won't have to purchase it. It is actually kind of a steal. That's why the price, I think, is $75 because it includes the book, and I think the book is about $30 to $40. I can't remember. And the rest of that is for the course. So, I mean, I know the price is a little bit steep, but it did really help me to pass. So, if you're going to go that route, I will link it down below. I also did some practice by Khan Academy. Now, Khan Academy is free, and I did like that. I mostly use Khan Academy just to kind of practice my skills. So the shorter passages, the longer passages, the double passages. I used Kathleen Jasper to really learn more about the test and some successful strategies. And I used her practice test to help me prepare for the exam. And I also recommend, and this is what I did too, I also recommend that you read articles. You are going to be reading passages that might seem interesting and sometimes are just, sorry, boring. Boring to me might be boring to you. So, to get you prepared for the kind of articles and passages that you might be reading, I chose to read at least 15 minutes a day of New York Times. Now, I highly recommend that you can also use Time Magazine or The Advocate or Washington Post or whatever works for you. For New York Times, I know that they have you subscribe, but it was only like $1 a week, so I didn't think it was that bad out of my student budget. And it definitely helps me to pass because I learned some new vocabulary with that, and it allowed me to kind of practice for myself. So as I was reading a passage, I'd be asking questions about the passage to myself to check for reading comprehension because I know that's what they do on the reading Praxis. So the game plan, this is my game plan. This is the game plan that I recommend for you, but of course adjust as needed because your needs will be different from mine. And that is totally fine. But what I did was I took a pretest just to see kind of like my baseline score. And I created a study plan from there. I practiced, I watched videos, I gained some strategies. Again, it will depend on your study plan. And then I took a practice test after that, and then I continued to practice and read, kind of alternated. And then once I realized that my scores were getting better, I just started taking a practice test every day or every other day until it led up to the exam. However, the day before, I just reviewed. I didn't want to overwhelm myself or stress myself out. Just keep track of your scores for each test that you kind of take and the practice that you do. It took me about 2 to 3 weeks to study and prepare for this test. But as I said, please adjust it for your needs. I also took some additional tests like teacher's prep that I will link below. That was very helpful. It's important for me to find additional practice tests, so I will link those down below if you're interested. You should get your score the day of. It's very similar to the math Praxis because there's no writing elements. The writing took me about a month to get back, but you should get it within a day or two. If not, you might have to wait a couple business days. You can look on your ETS account page, or sometimes you can look at your university degree plan. For WGU, it'll be on your degree plan. It might actually you actually might see it before you're even notified, and that's what happened to me last time. But I didn't care because I was super excited. And make sure that you understand what your score needs to be. Don't aim for the exact score. Try and go a little bit above it. Try and leave some leeway room to breathe because sometimes you just don't know what kind of passages they're going to throw at you or the kinds of questions they'll be giving you. So kind of leave a little leeway room, but know what your state score is to pass. I believe mine for Louisiana was 156. And I managed to pass above that. So it might be different from you. I think most states are about that much. I think they're like 156 to maybe 160 or something around there. Test day tips. What I recommend that you review the day before. You are allowed to have a whiteboard, so use it well. I really used mine to help me narrow down answer choices, and I also used it to write out important keywords from the question or the passages that I read. I also did like a little dance session to bring up my confidence level before taking tests like these. I know it can be a bit nerve-wracking, so definitely dancing it out for me or listening to music was immensely helpful right up to the test. Some final words of wisdom for you that I really recommend. Make sure your area is clear if you're taking your test at home. I wasn't able to find a test near me, and quite frankly, they were like hours away, so I ended up taking my test at home. And if you do that, make sure that everything is cleared. Your desk is cleared, your walls are cleared. I even had a proctor tell me that the books behind me needed to be taken down. So make sure that your computer has all the required elements. I think you do have to download a few apps just to make sure that you're right on track. Pace yourself when taking the exam. Use that whiteboard. I think I already said this, but really use that whiteboard. Don't overthink and make assumptions about the questions unless it like wants you to infer or draw a conclusion or something. You get to decide when to take the test. Make sure you're satisfied with your goal before you take it. Just because you get a 160 on your pretest doesn't mean you shouldn't at least review some of the other stuff that's going to be on there. I definitely don't recommend that you wing this test. Definitely reviewing is just incredibly helpful to you, even if it's just for a week or two. And if you don't pass the first time, no worries. Study, take again when you are ready, and you will pass. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I will link everything down below if you're interested in the resources that I found very helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Reach out to me with any questions or comments that you may have. See everyone again soon. Bye, guys.